obviously very pleased with the win this evening. Rivalry game. A lot of questions beforehand, and there are a lot of emotions that go on with this game. And so I thought our guys did a good job of controlling those and containing those. Give Georgia credit. Kept fighting and cut that lead and turned it into a game there at the end. And they're young. They're going to keep getting better. Mark does a great job. Him and I are good friends. So, it's a great win for us. So, opportunity to come back home. I think it's been 18 years since Georgia Tech has won back-to-back games in this series. So now Mufon and Pierre will leave here doing something very special in this rivalry again. Last year, first time winning in Athens, this time winning back-to-back games. So that's something that, I told those guys will never be taken away from them. So we're making progress as a team. We did a lot of good things, but we still got a long ways to go. As I told the guys, when you lose a game, everything isn't bad, and when you win a game, everything isn't good. But I thought we showed a lot of good things today, and just some areas that we need to improve on as well. So I couldn't be more proud of our guys. Mufon showed the competitive toughness that you need to have a good team. And at the same time, I think we got a lot of good basketball from a lot of different guys. To have our first Georgia game in the McCamish Pavilion, and with the crowd that we had and with the students, that was fantastic. When you walk out there and there's not a spot in the student section. Really pleased for that, and that means a lot to obviously me as the head coach and our players as well. Well, our defense has gotten pretty good. I think we could be a really, really good defensive team. We have to rebound the ball better. You guys have heard me say that now for 2 weeks. But all our threes came from getting the ball inside first, for the most part. And we shoot the ball a lot better when we do that. And, their threes tend to be off of screens and, staggered screens and different things like that. So I thought our initial defense on their three-point shooting was really good. Well, that was again. This place has a chance to turn into a special home court. There's no doubt about it. The crowd's right on top of you. It's loud. Hard to hear anything out there. I thought, the students were tremendous again, and so it's. We played those 2 games and we've been gone for almost 2 weeks. So it was almost like a whole new start again. And it was a pretty good way to start it off.
Strong second half. Scored 16 points, but still his shooting percentage was not good.
Well, I thought we did a good job. He's a great player. You know what I mean? He's a great player. Be one of the best players in the SEC. But, he scored 16 points but took 18 shots to do it, and he was 1 of 8 from the 3. So we did what we wanted to do. We forced him into difficult and tough shots. We also forced him into 3 turnovers, which was important. So, I thought our overall team defense and those guys who were assigned to him did a really good job. And again, what we're able to do on perimeter scores is rotate bodies on him. Marcus Hunt, Brandon Reed, Jason Morris, Chris Bolden. We have that opportunity and flexibility in our defensive coverages with our size on the perimeter to do that, and I thought that was effective. Yeah, it's not. It's a different. I don't know if they're correct or different stratosphere. It's not even close, But every day it's different because practices are better. our daily habits as a team are completely different. The upperclassmen understand what's expected of them on a daily basis. They perform that on a daily basis. They understand that their attitude and their energy level and their effort usually determine their performance, so they're cognizant of that and make a great effort to start out with a positive attitude. Greater chemistry among the team, great leadership. I think you're starting to see Mufan Udofia grow into the leader that not just that everybody wants, but doesn't maybe doesn't come around all that often. And sometimes you have to go through some some adversity and some fires to become that. And so everything's different. Everything is, and we're not there yet. We're still so early in the process. But when you get a good win against your rival, and you're playing better and you're competing every game, you can at least have a definite measurement of where you're at and where you want to get to.
Was it hard some days last year to look and sound positive? I know that's the nature of it.
I knew what I was getting into. And, I wouldn't lie sometimes you got to kick yourself to get going. There's no doubt about it. That would be only human nature. But I also saw a lot of guys that would be returning trying to understand what we wanted to get done. At the same time, because we signed these kids early, before the season even started, we knew we had a good group coming in. Guys that had said yes to Georgia Tech and yes to me and my staff before we had proven anything to them. And I always say those guys, they didn't know Brian Gregory from the Man on the Moon. They couldn't even tell you where Dayton was. They know where Michigan State is, I guess, but those young guys, the freshmen. So there was still an excitement level, and we knew that we had to put some foundation, lay some foundation, because as those guys joined it, and guys like Mufan and Daniel and Cam and Julian and those guys came back, we'd have a chance to move the process along in the right direction.
Speaking of the freshmen, just talk about this game in terms of what it means for you.
Well, again, you have to win some games that, it's 8 minutes to go. I think it was a 5-point game, and, we break everything down into 4-minute rounds and 10 rounds in the game, and that's those last 8 minutes in winning time, and you need to make plays, and you need to make winning plays. And I thought our young guys made those at that time, as did some of the other guys. So, our young guys are getting better, and one of the reasons they're getting better, unlike maybe last year, they have guys that are doing it the right way, that are above them in their classes. And they're not perfect by any stretch, either the upperclassmen or the freshmen, but at least they're making the right effort and moving in the right direction.
Possession
where you got the speaker on
Well, I thought, again, we made a couple of big-time hustle plays. Offensive rebound off a free throw that's just effort. And I thought we extended the lead midway through the second half on some of those plays. And I thought that probably won us the game, because if we didn't make those plays at that time, then we wouldn't have had the lead when they made that kind of the comeback. So, but that's a big play right there. Daniel Miller, I think, got the offensive rebound on that play. And then, Marcus used the ball screen well. They went underneath it, and he knocked it down. And, that's a big play for a freshman to make. But those plays become easier when you make hustle plays to start off the possession.
Going into the game, Mufan's condition, did you expect him to play 31 minutes?
We talked about it, and he knew to let us know if he couldn't go. But once he was able to get through a little bit of practice yesterday, and then we kind of shut him down, that's what you expect from him. I don't want to. He's sitting right here, so I'm not gonna give him a big head. I already said too much about him already. He'll be a pain in the butt to coach now.
We're seeing longer offensive possessions, shot clock running down. Is this part of the plan? It's kind of different than
Yeah, but forget 3 years ago. We can't worry about that stuff anymore. I mean, we have to get if we get a good look early, we want to push the ball. Now it's a little harder today. They were sending a lot of guys back, and the pace of play wasn't as fast as I would like it. But we have to be willing to score in the first 10 seconds or get it down to the last 10 seconds. The one thing that we need to do every time, we need to get that ball reversed a couple times, and we got to give the post a look because those guys have done a good job of kicking the ball out if need be, and a good job of scoring. And we shot 32 free throws. We got to make more than 21, but one of the reasons we did is because we were able to establish an inside game.
How did Georgia get that?
No, again, a little bit of everything. I don't think you can pinpoint one thing. I thought during that stretch where they got back in it, we didn't do as good a job of rebounding the ball, so we gave them some second chance opportunities. I would say probably out of our 11 turnovers, 5 of them occurred during that time. So those are the two things you can't do. You got to take care of the ball, and you got to limit them to one shot. And when you don't do those two things, then they're pretty good.